It's so good to have you here with us today. I'm Jenny.
And I'm James. And Jenny, I have to ask our listeners something right away, because I think a lot of them are going to feel this one deep in their bones.
Okay, go for it. I'm curious what you're thinking.
Have you ever been standing in line at a coffee shop or at the grocery store, or even just walking down the street, and someone suddenly asks you a simple question in English, and your brain just completely freezes?
Oh my goodness, yes. 100% yes.
Like, you know the words, you've studied them. But in that moment, with a real person looking right at you, waiting for an answer, it's like every word you ever learned just flies out of your head.
James, this happened to me on my very first trip to London. A man on the street just asked me, "Excuse me, do you have the time?" And I panicked. I thought he was asking me something so complicated.
Wait, he was just asking what time it was?
That's it. That's literally all he wanted. But in my head, in that split second, I thought, oh no, what is he really asking me? Is this a trick question? And I just stood there, frozen, for what felt like 10 seconds.
10 seconds of silence feels like an entire year when someone is staring at you, waiting.
It really does. And the funny thing is, once I calmly thought about it, I realized I actually knew exactly how to answer. My brain just needed a second to catch up with my mouth.
That is exactly the problem we want to solve for you today, our lovely listener. Because here's the truth. So much of everyday English isn't complicated grammar or fancy vocabulary. It's the same small handful of questions asked over and over again in slightly different situations.
Exactly. Someone asks how you're doing. Someone asks your name. Someone asks how much something costs, or what time it is, or if you're free this weekend. These questions repeat constantly, every single day, everywhere you go.
So here is our promise to you today. By the end of this episode, you are going to know the top 20 questions you'll hear again and again in real life, and more importantly, you'll know exactly how to answer them smoothly and naturally without that frozen, panicked feeling.
We're not just going to give you a list to memorize either. We're going to show you simple patterns, little formulas really, that you can reuse in dozens of different situations. Learn the pattern once, and you can use it forever.
And along the way, we're going to stop and practice together right here, out loud, so it actually sticks in your memory instead of just floating past your ears.
So get comfortable. Maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's dive into it together.
Let's do it. Jenny, where do you think we should start? What's the very first question people usually hear when they meet someone?
Oh, that's easy. It's almost always some version of, "How are you?"
Question number 1. How are you? This is probably the most common English question in the entire world. You'll hear it from a coworker in the morning, a neighbor on the street, a cashier at the store. Honestly, everywhere.
And here's something important for beginners to understand. Most of the time when someone asks, "How are you?" in passing, they don't want a long, detailed answer about your entire life. They just want a short, friendly response.
Right. So the simple formula is this. I'm plus a feeling word, and then you ask it right back. For example, I'm good, thanks. And you? That little pattern works in almost every casual situation.
Let's give a few more examples of that same formula. "I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?" Or a little more relaxed, "I'm okay, just a bit tired today. And yourself?"
I love that last one because it shows you can be honest too. You don't always have to say, "I'm great," if you're not feeling great. English speakers are very used to hearing, "I'm a little tired," or "I've had a long day."
That's such a good point, James. I remember when I was learning, I thought I always had to say I'm fine, no matter what. But real people don't always feel fine, and that's completely okay to say.
Exactly. So remember the formula. I'm plus your feeling plus and you or how about you. Simple, short, and it keeps the conversation moving naturally.
Great. Let's move to question number 3, which usually follows right after names are exchanged. And that's, where are you from?
This is such a classic question, especially when you're traveling or meeting someone new at a party or a class. The formula here is simple. I'm from plus your country or city. For example, I'm from Cambodia or I'm from Phnom Penh.
And if you want to sound a little more natural and conversational, you can add more detail, like, I'm from Vietnam, but I've been living here for about 2 years now.
That's a great tip, Jenny, because it opens the door for more conversation. The other person might say, "Oh, really? What brought you here?" And now you're having an actual real conversation, not just answering a question.
I actually have a little story about this one. When I first moved to a new city for work, someone asked me, "Where are you from?" And I just said my country's name and then went completely silent because I didn't know what to say next.
Oh, no, and then what happened?
There was this awkward pause, and the other person just said, "Oh, cool." And the conversation kind of died right there. Later, I learned that adding just a little extra detail, like why you're there or how long you've been there, keeps the conversation alive so much more naturally.
That's such a useful lesson. So remember, I'm from, plus your place, and then, if you can, add one small extra detail to keep the conversation flowing.
Perfect. Now let's talk about question number 4, which is extremely common in more social or work settings. What do you do? This usually means, what is your job?
Right. And beginners sometimes get confused by this question because it sounds like it could mean anything, like, what do you do this weekend? But when someone asks it out of nowhere in a conversation, they almost always mean your job or your work.
The formula here is I'm a plus your job title, or I work as a plus your job title. For example, I am a teacher, or I work as a nurse at the local hospital.
And if you're a student, you can simply say, I'm a student. I'm studying business at university, or whatever you happen to be studying.
Let's practice this one together too. James, go ahead and ask me.
Sure. So Jenny, what do you do?
I work as an English teacher. I really love helping people build their confidence speaking English. What about you, James? What do you do?
I'm a podcast host, obviously, but I also love writing scripts for our episodes here on the Learning Lab.
See how that felt like a real conversation, not just a question and a robotic answer? That's exactly the energy we want you to bring into your own conversations.
Beautifully said. Let's move into question number 5 now, which is a bit more casual. How's it going?
This one is very similar in meaning to, how are you? But it feels a little more relaxed and friendly, especially between friends or coworkers you already know a bit.
The formula is basically the same as before. It's going well. Or, pretty good, thanks. And then you can ask it back with, how about you? Or, how's it going with you?
One thing I want to point out here, James, is that English speakers use a lot of these small, quick greetings that all mean almost the same thing. How are you? How's it going? What's up? They can feel confusing at first because they sound different, but they're really just casual variations of the same friendly greeting.
That's such an important point. Beginners often think every different question needs a completely different kind of answer, but really, you can use similar short, friendly responses for all of them.
Which brings us naturally to question number 6, what's up? This is a very casual, friendly way of saying hello, especially among younger people or close friends.
And here's a fun little trick for beginners. What's up doesn't always need a long answer. You can simply say, not much, just relaxing, or not much, how about you? It's meant to be light and easy.
I remember being so confused by this question at first because I thought people were literally asking, what is up there? What's in the sky? I didn't understand it was just a casual greeting.
Wait, you actually thought that?
I did. I looked up at the ceiling once when someone asked me that. They must have thought I was so strange.
That is such a relatable beginner moment, though. And honestly, it's a perfect example of why understanding these questions as everyday patterns, not literal word-by-word translations, makes such a huge difference.
Absolutely. So remember, what's up just means how are you or what's going on with you? And a simple not much, just hanging out works perfectly fine as a reply.
Great! Let's shift now into a really practical category. Questions you'll need when you're out and about, needing help or directions. Question number 7 is, can you help me?
This is such an essential phrase to have ready because sooner or later, everyone needs help with something, whether it's finding a place, understanding a menu, or just carrying something heavy.
The formula is beautifully simple. Can you help me with, plus whatever you need help with. For example, can you help me find the train station? Or can you help me carry this bag?
And if you want to sound even more polite, you can add please at the end or start with excuse me first. Like, excuse me, can you help me, please?
That leads us perfectly into question number 8, which often comes right after you ask for help. Where is the bathroom? Or where is the restroom?
Such a practical, important question. You never want to be stuck not knowing how to ask this one, trust me.
The pattern is simple. Excuse me, where is the, plus whatever you're looking for. Excuse me, where's the bathroom? Excuse me, where's the exit? Excuse me, where's the elevator?
And when someone answers you, they'll usually say something like, it's right over there, or it's down the hall on your left. So it's also helpful to recognize simple direction words like left, right, straight ahead, and around the corner.
Let's do a quick role play here because I think this is a perfect moment to practice out loud together. Jenny, let's pretend you're working at a small shop and I just walked in as a customer.
Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Excuse me, could you help me? I'm looking for the bathroom.
Of course. It's just down that hallway, on your right next to the water fountain.
Great. Thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
See how natural that felt? Just a few simple sentences, but it completely solves a real everyday situation.
I love that example. And notice, James, you used thank you and you're welcome too, which are honestly two of the most important phrases in the entire English language, even though they're not technically questions.
Very true. All right, let's move into our next category, which is money and shopping, because this comes up constantly, whether you're at a market, a store, or a restaurant. Question number 9, how much does this cost?
This is such a useful one. The simple formula is how much is this, or how much does this cost? And an even shorter, more casual version that you'll hear a lot is just how much?
And when someone answers, they'll usually just tell you the price directly, like, it's $10, or that's $5.50.
I have a funny memory connected to this question, actually. When I was still learning English, I went to a market, and instead of asking, how much is this, I accidentally asked, how many is this? And the seller looked so confused.
Oh no, what did he say?
He just kind of laughed gently and said, do you mean how much? And I turned bright red, but honestly, it was such a good lesson. Small word mix-ups happen to everyone, and it's really nothing to be embarrassed about.
That's such a good reminder for our listeners, too. Mistakes like that are completely normal, and honestly, they often help you remember the correct phrase even better afterward.
Exactly. So remember, how much is this? Or how much does this cost? Simple, direct, and incredibly useful whenever you're shopping.
Let's move to question number 10 now, which fits closely with time and schedules. What time is it?
This connects perfectly with the story I told at the very beginning of our episode today about the man in London who asked me for the time.
It really does. The formula is simple. What time is it? Or a little more polite, do you know what time it is? Or do you have the time?
And when you answer, you can simply say, it's 3 o'clock, or it's about 4:30, or even just, it's almost 5.
Let's practice this quickly too. Jenny, pretend I just walked up to you on the street.
All right, go ahead.
Excuse me, do you have the time?
Sure, it's about 2:30.
Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
Nice and smooth. Now, since we just talked about time, let's naturally move into questions you'll use in restaurants, because that's another place where the same handful of questions come up again and again.
Great idea. Question number 11, can I have a table for 2? This is what you'll say when you walk into a restaurant with another person and need a place to sit.
The formula is, can I have a table for, plus the number of people? Can I have a table for 2? Can I have a table for 4, please?
And if you're by yourself, you can simply say, can I have a table for 1, please? It's a completely normal thing to say, and restaurants hear it all the time.
Question number 12 follows naturally after you sit down and finish your meal. Can I get the check, please? Or in some places, can I get the bill, please?
This is such an important phrase, because without it, you might be sitting at your table for a very long time, waiting, not sure how to signal that you're ready to pay.
Exactly. So the formula is, can I get the plus check or bill plus please? Nice and short, very polite, and it works in almost any restaurant.
Let's do one more little role play here, combining a few of these restaurant questions together, since this is such a common real-life situation.
Perfect. Let's do it. I'll be the customer, and Jenny, you be the server.
Sounds good. Hi there, welcome in. How many people will be joining you today?
Hi. Can I have a table for two, please?
Of course, right this way. All right, here's your table. Can I get you started with something to drink?
Yes. Could we get 2 glasses of water, please?
Absolutely, coming right up. Later in the meal, how is everything tasting so far?
It's really delicious, thank you. Actually, could we get the check when you have a moment?
Of course, I'll bring that right over for you.
See how many of our questions we just used together in one natural little scene? Can I have a table for two? Can I get? And can we get the check? All connected, all natural, all incredibly useful.
I really love how these phrases build on each other. Once you know the can I or can we pattern, you can ask for almost anything politely in nearly any situation.
So true. Let's move now into a slightly different category, questions about opinions, plans, and free time, because these come up so much when you're building friendships and relationships. Question number 13, do you have a minute?
This is such a polite, gentle way to ask if someone is free to talk or help you with something without just jumping straight into your request.
The formula is, do you have a minute, or do you have a moment? And if someone says yes, you can then explain what you need. For example, do you have a minute? I wanted to ask you something.
And if the person is busy, they might politely say, not right now, but I'll come find you in a bit. Or, sure, what's up, if they're free.
Question number 14 is one that comes up constantly in conversations, meetings, and even casual chats with friends. What do you think?
This is such a great question because it invites the other person to share their opinion, and it keeps a conversation feeling balanced, like a real back and forth, instead of just one person talking the whole time.
And when you're the one answering, the formula is often I think plus your opinion, or a softer version, I feel like plus your opinion. For example, I think it's a great idea, or I feel like we should try the other restaurant instead.
I really encourage our listeners to practice this phrase, I think, because it's honestly one of the most useful sentence starters in the entire English language. You can attach almost any opinion to it.
Completely agree. Let's move to question number 15 now, which is perfect for making plans with friends. Are you free this weekend?
The formula here is, are you free plus a time. Are you free this weekend? Are you free on Friday evening? Are you free tomorrow afternoon?
And a simple natural answer might be, yes, I'm free. What did you have in mind? Or, I'm not free this weekend, but I'm free next week if that works.
I have a small personal story here too. I once asked a friend, are you free this weekend? And instead of just saying yes or no, they gave me this incredibly long, detailed answer about their entire schedule, minute by minute.
Oh, that's so relatable. Some people really do that.
It made me realize, though, that once you know this pattern, you can keep your own answers simple and clear, even if the other person's answer goes on a bit longer than expected.
That's such a helpful mindset. You don't have to match the length of someone else's answer. Just stay clear and comfortable with your own.
Exactly. Let's continue on to question number 16, which is wonderful for checking in with someone you care about. How was your day?
Such a warm, caring question, and one you'll hear constantly from family members, partners, roommates, and close friends.
The formula for answering is it was plus a describing word, and then you can add a small detail. For example, it was pretty good, thanks. I finished a big project at work. Or, it was a bit stressful today, but it's getting better now.
And of course, after answering, it's always kind and natural to ask it right back. And how was your day? It keeps that warm, caring energy flowing both directions.
Let's move now into question number 17, which is very practical. What's your phone number? This comes up whenever you're exchanging contact information with someone new.
The formula is simple. What's your phone number? Or a little more casual, can I get your number? And to answer, you simply say your number slowly, digit by digit, like it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
A small tip here for beginners. When you say your phone number in English, it's very common and natural to say each digit separately rather than saying big numbers together. It makes it much easier for the other person to understand and write down correctly.
Great tip. Let's continue to question number 18, which is wonderful when you're exploring a new place. Can you recommend a good restaurant?
The formula here is, can you recommend a good plus whatever you're looking for? Can you recommend a good restaurant? Can you recommend a good place to visit nearby? Can you recommend a good coffee shop around here?
And someone might answer with something like, sure, there's a really nice little place just around the corner. Or, yes, actually, my favorite spot is just a 5-minute walk from here.
This question has honestly led me to some of the best meals of my entire life, just by asking a friendly local for their honest recommendation instead of only searching online.
That's such a lovely way to connect with people, too. Not just to get information, but to actually have a genuine little conversation with someone.
Absolutely. Now, question number 19 is one every English learner should keep close by, especially traveling. Excuse me, do you speak English?
This is such a respectful, gentle way to check before diving into a longer conversation, especially in a country where English might not be the main language.
The formula is very direct. Excuse me, do you speak English? And if the answer is yes, you can continue your conversation. If the answer is no, you can simply smile, say thank you, and find someone else to ask.
It's such a small phrase, but it shows real politeness and respect because you're checking first instead of just assuming.
Completely agree. And finally, our 20th question, which is one of the most common small talk topics in the entire world. What's the weather like today?
People everywhere love talking about the weather. It's honestly one of the easiest, safest topics to bring up with almost anyone, anywhere.
The formula for answering is it's plus a weather word. It's sunny today. It's a bit cold outside. It's raining pretty hard right now. Simple, quick, and easy to build a small conversation around.
And often, this question leads naturally into more conversation, like, it's really sunny today, perfect for a walk, which can turn into plans or just a friendly little chat.
I love how so many of these questions, even the small ones about weather or time, can open the door into much bigger, warmer conversations if you just know how to answer them naturally.
Beautifully said, Jenny. Well, that brings us through all 20 of our questions and answers for today. Should we take a moment to recap everything we covered together?
Yes, let's do a nice, relaxed recap, just talking it through together like we've been doing this whole episode.
So we started with greetings. How are you? And how's it going? Both answered with a short feeling word and a question back, like, I'm good, thanks, and you?
Then we covered introductions. What's your name? Answered with I'm plus your name. And where are you from? Answered with I'm from plus your place plus a little extra detail.
We talked about work with what do you do? Answered using I'm a plus your job and casual greetings like what's up, which just needs a light, easy answer like not much.
Then we moved into asking for help and directions. Can you help me? And where is the bathroom? Both using that simple, excuse me, where is the pattern.
After that came shopping and money. How much does this cost? And time. What time is it? Or do you have the time?
We spent some time in a restaurant setting too. Can I have a table for two? And can I get the check, please? Both using that friendly can I pattern.
Then we explored plans and opinions. Do you have a minute? What do you think? And are you free this weekend?
And we finished with caring everyday questions. How was your day? What's your phone number? Can you recommend a good restaurant? Do you speak English? And finally, what's the weather like today?
That is a lot of ground we covered together. But notice how none of it felt like memorizing a giant list. It felt like real conversation, because underneath all 20 questions, there are really just a small handful of simple patterns.
That's exactly the big idea we want you to walk away with today. You don't need thousands of different phrases to sound natural in English. You need a small set of flexible patterns like I'm, I think, can I, and do you, and you can build almost any everyday conversation from there.
Learn the pattern once, and you can use it 1,000 times in 1,000 different situations. That's the real secret to sounding natural and confident in English.
So now we have a fun question of the day for all of you listening. We'd love for you to leave a comment and tell us which of these 20 questions do you get asked the most in your own daily life.
Or even better, tell us about a funny or awkward moment you've had, like Jenny's story about looking up at the ceiling when someone asked, "What's up?" We would absolutely love to hear it.
We read every single comment, and honestly, your stories help other learners feel less alone too, because so many of us go through the exact same funny, awkward, wonderful moments while learning English.
If today's episode helped you even a little bit, we would be so grateful if you shared it with a friend, a classmate, or anyone else who's working on their English right now. It genuinely helps our little channel grow, and it might just be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We know your time is valuable, and we truly appreciate you choosing to spend it here, learning and growing with us.
Keep practicing these patterns. Keep having real conversations, even the awkward ones, because every single conversation makes you a little more confident than the last.
Until next time, this has been the Learning Lab, where learning English is easy and enjoyable. Take care, everyone.
See you in the next episode. Bye for now.